happening and why the two people, you know.
They gotta have Kurt Russell show up as Snake Plissken to really make it work.
That would be funny. But that's the thing is, why is it Negan and
which they don't establish by the end of the season finale.
Right, because the only thing that we find out from the series finale is Rick and Michonne are, you know, like basically that was it. We don't know why Daryl is going to France. We don't know why, you know, Negan and why can't I think of her name? Maggie, thank you, are going to New York, because we know, you know, at the end, Negan is married. He has a kid on the way. Right. Is she part of the thing that they end up, you know, and that's the other thing too, is because they finished Walking Dead with kind of, all right, we've taken the town back. We've gotten rid of the bad guy, and, you know, now everything should be good. So why does everybody need to go off?
Right.
You know,
right.
Like you finally are in a good place. Why you leave?
Yeah, given the reputation over 11 seasons, it's entirely possible that Ezekiel kicks them out because they seem to ruin everything.
Yeah,
they
you know
touch.
what? Maybe it's
They're
not
like, hey,
them.
You guys are related to Bob Chapek, aren't you?
You need to get out. So yeah, you know, it'll be interesting, you know, to see. You know, so you have the 3 new series. So you have Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. Which,
I really hope to come up with a better title than that.
You know, and now the other thing too that I guess it was from World Beyond, was the fast zombies, you know, the ones in France.
Right, you got climbers.
You got the climbers.
You got runners.
And you got the ones that can open doors now.
Yeah, you got the articulated ones, the guys that can pick stuff up.
Right. So what is it that makes him want to go to France? Now, that was also supposed to be where Carol was originally supposed to be going with him, but because they were actually filming in France, which seemed kind of odd during, you know, this whole time period, why you wouldn't just do, you know, a set or something and stay stateside. She's not going, so they had to kind of redo that whole storyline. Then you have the Walking Dead Dead City, which is the one with Maggie and Negan, again, very odd
Lauren
couple.
Cohen, who, by the way, is from Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Right, she was born in Cherry Hill,
our neck
New Jersey.
Of the woods.
And then obviously we have the currently untitled series, which will feature Rick and Michonne, which we've, you know, they kind of hinted at that during the last episode of The Walking Dead. Plus you have the returning of Fear the Walking Dead.
Right.
World Beyond, again, was just a 2-episode thing, two seasons, and that was it. So
yeah, so Walking Dead's over, but long live the Walking Dead. Long live the Walking Dead. So yeah, we'll see where we wind up with it. Yeah. We'll see if they're worth watching moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to take another quick break. We'll be back, and we're going to talk about some of the things we've been doing as far as pop culture-y, seasonally type stuffy stuff. We'll be right back.
Insights into Teens, a podcast series exploring the issues and challenges of today's youth. Talking to real teens about real teen problems. Explore issues from braces to puberty, social anxiety to financial responsibility. Each week, we talk about the topics concerning today's youth. We look at how the issues affect teens, how to cope with these issues, and how parents, friends, and loved ones can help teens handle these challenges. Check out our video episodes on youtube.com/insightsintothings. Catch our audio versions on podcastsintoteens.com or on the web at insightsintothings.com.
Welcome back to Insights into Entertainment. So we've been out and about. We had two things actually on the show notes today, but we have a third one to add to it from last week. The first one was we attended the very first Monster Mania at Oaks, Greater Philadelphia.
I think they've actually done one there before. We
did the outside one.
We did the outside one. I thought they've done one there before, but for some reason
I thought this was the first one.
I don't.
It was our first one.
It was our first one.
So we'll just go with that.
We'll go with that. It was our first one, and Monster Mania has always been kind of one of our local conventions that
we're not married to it. We don't go to it every time.
We were going kind of like, maybe we'll go. The biggest problem with Monster Mania was the venue.
Yes.
Because they would do it in Cherry Hill. They would do a Maryland version as well. And the problem with the Cherry Hill is that it was at a nice hotel, but unfortunately, hardly any parking, very crowded area. They did finally start kind of spreading it out throughout the years, but again, just in general,
you were
even
on top of each other.
Right,
yeah.
even pre-pandemic, you were very much on top of each other, and parking just not being, and I always felt bad for anybody that was actually staying there as a guest and had no idea what was going on.
I think I told you years ago I had a friend of mine who he had a cousin or somebody who was attending a wedding reception the same weekend.
Oh, jeez.
And they come down off the elevator and they're getting ready to go to the wedding reception and wherever the ballroom was. And all they see is all these people dressed in horror costumes walking out to go to the convention. It's like, I guess that makes a heck of an impression.
Yeah. So, so it's one that we didn't always go to because of the venue and knowing, oh my God, it's going to take us forever to find parking.
Well, and it was also a little high price for the experience.
Right.
We never really attended the panels, and it was always a pain
and they
to get
really
through
didn't
there.
have too many panels. They
would do
a couple
screenings.
a couple of shows, and that was really really it. So this time they were doing it at Oaks, which is probably our favorite venue of all the venues. One, because it's very spacious. Whatever we've been to has not felt crowded. We've done RetroCon there. We did the Greater Philadelphia.
RetroCon.
We did the Greater Philadelphia Expo there. And now we can add Monster Mania as well. One, free parking, tons of parking. And it's such a big venue that they usually have more than one event going on at a time, and you don't feel like there's more than one event going on at a time. The good news is, because they had such a good turnout, they are going back to Oaks next year. We did do during, I guess it was last summer or before the summer, last May, they had done an outdoor. It was basically a flea market.
It was like a sweat lodge.
It was a sweat lodge. So it was nice to see them, back here inside. And what was nice was the one area they had a whole bunch of celebrities. So that if you wanted to partake in that.
It was set up in such a way that you had very organized, very large aisles for your vendors.
Yes.
Nothing was crowded. You had an entire other area for your panels. Mm-hmm. With plenty of seating.
Right.
You didn't have to sign up for any of them. You could just walk
and all
into
the panels were, it was actually open air. So, if you happen to be walking by, it was like, oh, so-and-so's speaking. We're like, oh, well, we'll sit down for a little bit.
Celebrities in the back room. They had the food off to the side. It was so well done. I mean, of all the conventions that we've gone to, I think it was probably one of the best layouts that they've had of all the conventions we've gone to.
Yeah.
I was very happy with the experience. I was very happy with the fact that I wasn't elbowing people left and right. Plenty of space. Very well done. We'll definitely be going back.
And again, like I said, they've already booked it. They signed their contract.
And the number of vendors. They must have had 30-40% more vendors there than they do, because you can house that many there.
Right. Right.
They couldn't house that many in Cherry Hill.
Yeah. So definitely, if you're a fan of the monster conventions, this is definitely one that
Even if you're a fan of just pop culture, because of the increased number of vendors,
yeah,
it wasn't just horror stuff.
right,
Which was really nice.
yeah, and they have a couple of other vendors there, selling coffee and pickles and other things.
Yeah, but you had sci-fi there. You had typical pop culture. You had movie stuff there.
Right, because you always,
you had toy vendors there.
Right, because you usually always get a vendor who not only has their sci-fi or their horror stuff, but they have their other stuff, as well. So
before we move on to the next one on the list, let's talk about what we did this weekend since we're on a convention kick.
Sure. So for our second year in a row now, we have gone down to Maryland and gone to Ocean City Comic Con. You found out about this a couple of years ago through a coworker whose husband happens to be one of the organizers of it.
He also happens to be a local artist down there as well, and that's how he got involved with it.
Right, so that's how he got involved with it. So last year was the first year that we went. We made a weekend of it because we don't live that close to
and we had so much fun. I broke a rib down there, so...